YouTube, Coach Rudy back with another video. It's been a while. Hope you missed me. Listen, question for you. What did you do for your training today? Now, if you answer what you did for your training, do me a favor. Tell me your age, and male, female, your sex, and any injuries you have, and we'll talk about your training too. But let me tell you what I did today. First, let me preface with, I bet a lot of you guys, and I really like to reach people that are in the gym. I have this private gym in Los Angeles, California, and I train really a bunch of high-powered people and very successful people who are driven and complicated, if you will. But most of them have succeeded, and they're a little bit older in life. When I say older, let's say over 40. Because if you're like me, I started training early 20s. I guess I got super serious around 21 or 22. Trained through my athletic career in high school, but that didn't really count because we didn't have much training back then. And then trained pretty seriously in the Marines for the years I was there. And then trained this way my whole life. But I'll give you an example. I think my best bench press ever, how much you bench, bro, was 387. Back in I think that was in Columbia, South Carolina. I was selling real estate there back in the day. Lake Murray, if you've ever been there. And my bench was 387, and I think that was like 1987. Because I moved to Los Angeles where I'm at now in 1990. Anyway, that was my best bench, and I was 27, 28 years old. Now, 66.8 years of age, there's no way I can bench 387. I can barely squat 387. Got terrible knees just from, you get older, things happen. So give me your age. Let's talk about your age. Let's talk about your training. Tell me what you did. All right, anyway, going back, I don't train as heavy now as I used to, but I train as heavy as I can. But today was more of a volume day. So here's what I did today. I did lat pulls off a vertical pulley. And I like that, and I did 5 sets of those. And I kind of treat those as a warm-up. I start light, and I add a plate, one of those selector plates. I add a plate on each set. So I do 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. And I add weight each time. So lat pulls, I'm not trying to get really strong on them. I just like to use them for a shoulder warm-up. I like to get strong on my chin-ups and things like that. Anyway, when I did a lat pull, then I'd come over to the incline bench, and I would do incline benches. So I ended up doing 5 working sets of incline, and then 5 working sets of lat pulls. So that's my first 2 exercises. I like to superset because I like to kind of keep moving. So then from those 2 exercises, I did the floor press. If you know anything about the floor press, it's where you set up the bar on the rack, where you're laying on the floor, so it stops you from going too far into the range of motion, and it helps you in a specific way. In my case, a little bit of a shoulder thing, so it helps me not to go deep into that shoulder. So floor presses were interesting. I could do 300 pounds at one time. Today I was like 200 pounds. Heavy. I'll get back to what I'm comparing the weights to in a moment. And then I did a superset with those. I did seal rows. Seal rows is where you lay on a bench, grab dumbbells, and do rows supported by a bench. I did 5 sets of those. And then to finish, matter of fact, 10 seconds ago, I did 1-arm low pulley cable rows. So the back is a very complex, it's beautiful, right? If you look at the Greek statues, the back looks like road maps of muscle. So I did, that gives me 5 lat pulls, 5 seal rows, 4 low pulley rows. That gives me 14 sets of back today. And I do back like this twice a week. So I do about 28 sets of back work. Pretty much you can say that about all the movement patterns. I usually do a lot of volume because there's 2 ways to build muscle. One is with heavy weights, of course, and the other is with a lot of volume. If you're doing heavy weight, you're not doing that much volume. If you're doing a lot of volume, you're probably not doing that heavy of weight. At this stage of my life, the lighter loads are good, but let me tell you something. I have my record books from my training in the 20s. I got PRs in the 20s. I got my PRs post 30. I got PRs post 40. I got PRs post 50. I have sad but PR post 60s, right? And the post 60 PRs are probably about half or 2/3 of what the ones in the 20s were. That's just the way it is. But I'm probably still in the 99 percentile of my age group. That's what I want for you too. No matter as you get older, you can't give up. You got to keep working. Again, that's why I like older students and subscribers and clients here in my gym, is because they know, right? Talk about my successful clients here. A lot of people will sacrifice their health early for their wealth. And in some ways, I think it might not be a bad idea, because I wasn't concerned with wealth almost ever. I was just always about health. So I sacrificed wealth I was just in the gym all the time, right? All my jobs. Was a Marine, was a policeman for a while, was an actor a while, but I was always in the gym, and I never got into a career that took me away from the gym too much. That's why I even left police work, even when I left the military. Anyway, then the people of your age gain their wealth, and then they spend their wealth trying to regain their health. And I notice with a lot of affluent people, man, it's time to gain your health, because with resources, that type of thing, great health care, you can extend your life a long time, but you got to get on it. So tying in the loose ends if I can. So my post 60 PRs are just as important as my post 20 PRs, because it's me maintaining for as long as I can maintain. I feel great. I got some wonky knees. Once in a while, a little bicep tendonitis in my shoulder. But if my knees felt good, I think I was 30 versus 66.8. So what did you train today? Give me your age. Tell me where you're from. Subscribe, like the video, leave me the comments about what you're up to in your workout. I kind of droned on. I went here and there in this thing. But you know what? I was training, and these things just crossed my mind. I haven't done a video in a while. Want to get more consistent with videos, but I work from 6 in the morning to 6 at night. And it looks like I'll do that for the rest of my entire life, because I sacrificed the wealth way back when for the health. Now I'm trying to maintain the health and pay the bills. I'll talk to you later. Thanks for watching, and God bless.